She's just enormously talented, very gifted, great reflexes, incredible length, talent, hand-eye coordination. If you're going to be the best in the world at something, you've got to be great at a lot of things. So that list can go on and on and on.
You hear all the time, like, water polo is like 90% mental. It's super hard physically, but mentally it's like very, very draining. And it's because you have to make so many decisions outside of just like treading and holding a ball and wrestling with somebody and moving around the cage and like launching yourself out of the water. You're making intelligent decisions and you're making reads, and there are moves that happen and you're reacting to your defensive position, your defender's position, and the shooter. So there are a lot of different pieces that you have to put in, and then you also have to be physically ready to block a ball. So getting to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm efficient with my energy, I'm smart, and I'm explosive. Like, I'm going to make these reads and it's gonna be scary.
The goalkeeper in water polo is very similar to a kicker in football. But I would argue that the goalkeeper does a little bit more on our end. They're the position that is training alone at times in their specific group, but at the same time, maybe not training as hard or as much volume, but in that same breath, they are the person who you probably rely on more than anything, and they will decide whether you win or lose a game at times.
I think it was really hard for me when I was younger to understand how I fit into the grand context and what it meant to be Black in a predominantly white sport, because when I was young, being Black in a predominantly white space just meant like trying to fit in as best as I could.
I think she's always had a desire to have an impact and be that role model, but she was very hesitant at first, because that's a lot of pressure too at the same time, and she was very hesitant at first to put herself in that position.
So when I came to this environment, and maybe not my teammates, but people were so focused on how I was different, and like interviews and like parents asking and all of these things on how I was different, I was like, okay, I can't hide. Like, I need to understand this. I need to like really, really understand like how these people who don't know me are telling me how important I am to be here. I'm like, I'm just here to play water polo. Like, I just love this game.
What I've seen from her in the last 4 to 6 years is this willingness and almost this vulnerability from her to be able to have the courage to put herself in a position to where she is clearly making that a mission now, and she's not afraid to talk about it.
But when I actually took the time to understand the history of exclusion of Black people from aquatics in general, but also our sport by like association, I understood how important it was to be looking like me and to be here and doing what I do and loving it. If you don't see it, you can't really imagine yourself there, and how much representation matters and how important it is to like be here and speak on it and speak on how hard it is, but also how rewarding it is, and just recognize how much opportunity there is and that someone has to open up a pathway to that opportunity and being willing to do so.
To learn more about Ashleigh Johnson's journey, visit the50athletes.com.